Sorry, cut off. So you don't want to jeopardize the tissue. You are answering my prayers, my dreams. I love talking about poop. And when I posted that reel about fecal smearing, I had no idea I was gonna have so many women saying, "Hey, I have fecal smearing." I was like, let's talk about it, because nobody talks about fecal smearing. Let's do it. And pelvic floor therapists talk about fecal smearing, but fecal smearing is when you're wiping and wiping and wiping and wiping, like Chris Parrott in that reel. You just wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe. So what people do is then they turn to wipes. And when you're using a wipe on your anus, the tissue of the vulvar area is just sensitive, and we need care for it. And when you're using a wipe, you're jeopardizing the integrity of the tissue. Even water wipes. I don't care what kind of wipes you use. Okay? So you don't want to jeopardize the tissue and cause more irritation, more inflammation. Oftentimes fecal smearing can be due to hemorrhoids also. So if you're wiping with something harsh and you're wiping and wiping and wiping, you're just slowly breaking down that tissue and causing more of an issue. So I love bidets. Like, I'm bidet trained all day. My friend, pelvic floor therapist Nicole, she does not like the way it feels, but I cannot imagine living without one. But when you have a bidet and it can spray you with water, and then you pat dry and you protect that tissue, game changer, right? So let's talk about fecal smearing. When I treat the pelvic floor, of course I care about what the diagnosis is or what the symptom is. Urinary incontinence, fecal smearing, constipation, prolapse, pain. I don't treat those different diagnoses very differently. And let me tell you why. The pelvic floor is like a hammock of muscle tissue. It goes from front to back, hip to hip. So if you have fecal smearing, we just don't work on mobilizing the back of the pelvic floor. My approach has always been very holistic. So we work on mobilization of the pelvic floor, making sure it moves really nicely. Oftentimes with fecal smearing, it doesn't have a lot of movement. We work on strengthening. Another thing when you have fecal smearing, sometimes you don't have really good strength, so you have to work on that. We address nutrition. We address hydration. We look at our poop, texture, color. We look at the color of our urine. We look at what we're eating and drinking, what irritates our stomach, what irritates our bladder. All of that impacts our pee and our poop. So when you're addressing the pelvic floor, that's why I use such a holistic approach, because I want you to have a full function. Sorry, cut off. I want you to have a full functioning, know how to use the pelvic floor as a whole, know how nutrition impacts it, know how urgency is impacted, the nervous system brought into it, what this color of poop means, what that color of pee means, what that texture of poop means, how to sit on the toilet to protect yourself from getting hemorrhoids. Like, it has to be a holistic approach. I would never treat any other way. So when people are like, "Oh, I don't like urine, but I have fecal smearing," I'm like, "Great. I'm going to teach you the same thing I teach someone who has urinary incontinence, and vice versa." Pain is treated a little bit differently, which is what we also go over in our course. If you have pain with like tailbone pain can be with fecal smearing, or pain with intercourse, or OBGYN appointments, or tampon insertion, we work on tension and removing the tension by mobilizing the pelvic floor. So we don't want to ignore fecal smearing. We want that to be a communication from our body to be like, okay, those two sphincters in the rectum, because we have two like little rubber bands that shut that rectum up, right? And when those little rubber bands aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's when we can have fecal smearing. So that's why we have to work on the muscle tissue. Also, having the nutrition support. So when we do have a bowel movement, look at the Bristol stool chart, and we have the right poop color and texture, which we should be looking at the color and texture, poop and pee every single time we do that. But one lady was like, "He just needs wipes in the shower," and I'm like, that doesn't solve the root cause. That might solve the problem right there, does not get to the root cause. Nothing makes me madder when I go to a hotel or an Airbnb and they have cheap toilet paper, because I'm like, you're not thinking about the people with fecal smearing or hemorrhoids or even a full functioning pelvic floor. I worked in the hospital I was in the hospital for 20 years. Even before I was an OT, I worked in the hospital. And you would be, maybe you won't be, shocked at how many people do not wash their hands after they take a poop or a pee. There are so many stories. I won't kill you with them now, because you'll be like, I can't do this. But if you have a little bit nicer toilet paper, you're less likely to break through, and that's important. So anyway, I own an Airbnb in Charleston, South Carolina, and my husband bought a cheaper brand of toilet paper, and I was like, never. How dare you? You know better. But anyways, fecal smearing can be absolutely addressed. It's really no different than when you address urinary incontinence. Holistic approach. Okay, I'll get off my toilet paper tangent and poop talk, but it's never TMI. Ask me the questions. Fecal smearing is absolutely can be muscle dysfunction, and we have so many ways of making it better. I have a free masterclass. I have an online course, and I address urinary incontinence, but I take a very holistic approach. So whatever diagnosis you're experiencing, just put that diagnosis in where I say urinary incontinence, and it can be really helpful. So my masterclass isn't going to say fecal smearing, but I would not treat you indifferently. So watch the masterclass. Just drop the word dry right here in the messages, and I'll send you the link to the masterclass. Okay? Okay. And if you have questions about poop, please let me be your girl, because it's one of my favorite topics.